really wants to keep, you know, because this is a temporary job, and that apparently she put his name on top of her list because she really likes him. And at this point, all I can say is, well, that's really good for you, I guess. Fast forward to last night, and we were talking about how his family and I are going out for his mom's birthday for a pop-up bar after he gets off of work today. He then mentioned something about her, and how he doesn't want to let her down at work on a responsibility or something like that, and that he's gonna leave work early to make it to his mom's birthday. Then he gets a smile on his face and says that she's supposed to be there. And I'm just like, wait a second, what do you mean she's supposed to be there? He said he mentioned the bar that they're going to and that she invited herself because it's close to her house. And I was like, okay, well that's kind of weird for a coworker to invite herself to your mom's birthday party. Then he says I'm being judgmental and that just because I wouldn't do that doesn't make it weird. And it's like, okay, that's fair, but I just do find it weird and inappropriate. Then I start questioning how close they really are, because she clearly feels comfortable enough to invite herself to his mom's birthday. He then says that they're friendly, and I then ask him if he wants her there too, and he says to me yes. He says he would have wanted to invite her himself, but he knew that I would freak out if he did. And I'm just like, wait a second, why do you want this random coworker you've known for 2 months to meet your whole family? He says it's not a big deal, and he only wanted to because she lives close by. But I say to him, listen, I'm friendly to my coworkers too, but I just can't imagine myself or them inviting themselves to my mom's birthday. But once again, he says I'm being judgmental. Then in the morning, he says that she's going with her friend and that she's just going to say hi. But I felt it was weird, and he didn't mention that before, and he acted like she was going to be joining us the night before. Anyways, I was being a jerk about it and said I wasn't going to be nice to her. Then I calmed down and apologized for being a jerk about it, but I will admit I was being paranoid and jealous about this entire thing. He then gets really mad at one point and says that he went out to eat with his coworkers one day but didn't tell me because he knew that I would get mad at him for her being there. And it really made me feel like garbage about myself, while simultaneously made me worry about what else he's been keeping from me. Anyways, I feel like I'm going absolutely crazy and that I'm being the insane paranoid girlfriend, and I honestly just want to stop. I don't know what to do, honestly, because I really don't feel like I trust this girl, but I also want to stop causing these problems in my relationship all because I'm jealous. What should I do? Okay, first and foremost, if I was in your shoes, I would feel the exact same way. Why is your boyfriend being so weird about this coworker? Like, from the sounds of it, it really does come off like he has some kind of like secret crush with her, especially with the fact that he feels the need to hide information from you. You've been with this guy for 3 years, and suddenly this girl comes around that he's only known for 2 months, and she is now this major point of discussion and like this one thing he always wants to talk about. So truly, I don't blame you for getting paranoid and jealous, because your boyfriend is not helping the situation at all. He's not putting you at ease, he's not saying anything to be like, oh, don't even worry about it. Instead, he's almost like bouncing it right back at you and being like, wow, why are you so judgmental? You hate her and you've never even met her. And it's like, wait a second, you do know that this is your girlfriend you're talking to, right? Like, this other lady is a coworker. You don't know her that well, and you're almost like protecting her in some kind of way. That is honestly so weird to me, and I just will never understand that kind of attitude. So yeah, if I was in your shoes, I would be freaked out by this as well, because the way your boyfriend is acting, in my opinion, is one giant red flag. And in my opinion, you have every right to be upset about this, especially when he's doing so little to try and calm your nerves. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some chill music to put on in the background, check out easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk, subscribe to Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked down below in the description.
Karen neighbor thinks she owns the whole building. Here's what happened. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk on YouTube and hit the bell for notifications. I, a 31-year-old female, live in a block of 6 units, apartments for non-Australians. A month ago, the unit above mine went up for sale and sold fairly quickly, and the new owner moved in less than a week ago. This morning, I got up and went to take rubbish out and found a note stuck to my door. I honestly thought it was a I'm new to the building kind of note, you know? Oh, could I not have been more wrong?
Dear tenant, I recently bought your building and wish to introduce myself. My name's blah blah.
Not going to use her actual name.
And I think you will find me a fair landlord. However, I do have rules. Number 1, everyone is to be in their units by 9 p.m. If you're going to be out past this, I suggest you find accommodation elsewhere. Number 2, no pets allowed. If you have any, then they must be relocated before I do an inspection, or I will call the ranger to remove them. This is the only warning. Number 3, I will conduct an inspection once a month, and you will be present to answer any questions or face eviction. Number 4, failure to pay rent on time will result in your eviction. If we all follow these rules, I'm sure we will get along. Sincerely, blah blah.
What the F did I just read? Fun fact about my building, we all own our own units. Nobody actually owns the whole building. I won't lie, I got to the number 2 and had a slight panic attack because I have cats, and there's no way I was giving them away before I remembered we bought our unit just before Christmas. We rented it from a friend prior, and when she told me she was thinking about selling it, we bought it. Didn't even have to move. So in some ways it still feels like renting, but we actually own our unit. Now, I'm not great at confronting someone. I tend to shake a lot, but at that moment I was quite angry, so I went upstairs and knocked on her door. You know that gut feeling you have? It was spot on. The door opened and there stood a Karen. Her hair blonder than my own, her nails long and brightly colored. She didn't look happy to see me there. I introduced myself and explained that I live downstairs and I want to talk to her about her note. She started to talk over top of me, explaining that her letter was basic rules and even a child could understand it. And if I didn't like her rules, I could hand in a letter to vacate. Wow. I would ask if people are really this obnoxious, but I work in retail and could answer my own question. I told her that I actually own my unit, she hadn't bought it or the rest of the building, but only her own unit, and that she couldn't enforce anything in her note. She didn't like that at all. She started yelling at me, saying that yes, she had indeed bought the whole building and that failure to comply with her rules would mean I would be evicted. I was just starting to think maybe I was wrong when another neighbor opened his door. He came out and asked what the issue was about and could she stop screaming as he worked nights and was trying to sleep. I told him I was trying to explain that she hadn't bought the building and she started yelling again. My neighbor told her to stop and then said the best thing I had heard that day. "Are you stupid?" Her jaw dropped as he explained to her how wrong she was and that he was in fact part of the Strata committee, kind of like a HOA that oversees the building, and that she had no right to make rules for everyone. She gave us dirty looks before slamming the door. I thanked him and he said in the entire time he lived there he hadn't seen someone so entitled. Wow. Well, first thing that comes to mind for me is how did this woman think that she was buying a whole apartment building for the cost of one unit? Did she think she was getting the deal of the century or something here and could then run the building however she wanted? Or was she fully aware that she only owned her own unit and was simply trying to bully everyone else into behaving the way that she wanted? Even if she did buy the building herself, those rules are absolutely unacceptable. There's no way you can sit there and tell someone when they have to be home. You have no right to install a curfew on the people that live in the building that you own. This Karen is just absolutely delusional.
Before we jump into the next one, if you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably gonna love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description.
Karen neighbor seems to believe her ownership has now extended to the parking lot. So I guess this is an update to my last post. I had a lot of people ask me to post if she did anything else. This is also currently happening and my significant other is witnessing it and texting me as I'm at work. So if you missed my last post, I had a new neighbor move into my building and she left notes on everyone's door saying she had bought the building and gave us insane rules to follow. She does not own the building, but only a unit or apartment. Jury is still out if she's insane or stupid. She's been quiet for the last few days and I thought maybe that's it. Apparently I was wrong. So each unit in our building is allocated one parking space. Just one. I park in mine and my significant other parks his car on the street on the other side of the building. Our parking lot had one visitor space. It's a very small parking lot, 6 spots for residents and 1 visitor. The visitor spot is nearly always empty and my neighbors have said my significant other can park his car there if he wanted, as we are the only unit with 2 cars, but he doesn't mind parking where he is. So this morning my significant other woke up to yelling. Our kitchen window overlooks the parking lot and he snuck a peek out the window and saw entitled neighbor standing next to our nice neighbor's car, and they were arguing loudly. She kept yelling that she had a second car and needed to park in his spot, and he had to move his car or else she would have it towed. He kept repeating that it was his parking spot and she could either park it in the visitor spot or on the street, and if she towed his car, he would report it stolen. My significant other said she kept yelling she can park where she wants and he needed to move it or else. So my significant other decided to park his car in my empty spot in case she tried to park there while I'm at work. Last message he sent me, she has stormed upstairs in a huff and slammed her door. Update, I got home from work and she's parked her second car in the visitor spot, but she's parked it so badly it's blocking the driveway in. Right now I'm parked on the street but too tired to deal with her. Update 2. So like I said before, her car was basically blocking the driveway and I had to park on the street. Anyway, when I got up for work the next day, it was still there, but when I came home, it had gone. I asked my significant other as he was at home, and apparently a tow truck came and took it away. I'm still not sure which neighbor called the tow truck, but I have a suspicion it's the one she was arguing with. My significant other said she had been quiet all day, only the odd footsteps. Wow, so the saga of entitlement continues apparently. This time we've extended to the parking lot. I don't know what's going on with this lady that she just seems to think that she owns everything that she sets her eyes on. This isn't the Lion King. You paid for your unit, you have one parking spot, that is what you get. Stop trying to enforce your made up rules on other people. Where do you get off doing something like that? Keeping in mind, this lady's only been in this apartment for what, a week? And she's already making everyone else's lives absolutely miserable. Kudos to the other neighbor for getting her car towed though. Maybe she'll learn to be a little nicer now. Karen neighbor's toxic attitude continues to spread, this time to the clothesline. Well, I'm back. As many of you predicted, her entitlement grew. In case anyone missed the update on my last post, her car was towed and I didn't know which neighbor did it. This made her more angry, but seeing as I was at work, she hasn't blamed me or my significant other. It's been raining all week, and as I don't have a dryer, I haven't been able to do any big items like sheets or towels. Only clothes as I can hang them up inside. On Saturday, it was finally sunny and I raced home from work, dragged my significant other out of bed so I could wash all the blankets and dry them in case it rained again. I managed to get through five loads of sheets, blankets,